Daniel Carter had spent the last 8 years raising his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, alone. After losing his wife to illness, his world had become painfully simple. Work, home, bedtime stories, and endless sacrifices. Romance had become something he believed belonged to other people. One evening, his best friend insisted he try a blind date. Daniel almost canceled. He couldn't afford expensive restaurants, fancy clothes, or awkward conversations with strangers. But after weeks of persuasion, he finally agreed. He arrived at the elegant downtown restaurant wearing the only suit he owned. His hands trembled. He wasn't nervous about dating. He was afraid of disappointing someone. Minutes passed. Then the restaurant doors opened. A graceful woman stepped inside, surrounded by quiet confidence. Every eye in the room turned toward her. She wasn't just beautiful. She looked successful beyond imagination. Designer dress, security waiting outside, a luxury car parked at the entrance. Daniel assumed she was waiting for someone else. Then she looked directly at him. Her eyes widened. The color drained from her face. She whispered only one word, "Daniel." His heart nearly stopped. He knew that voice. 20 years disappeared in an instant. It was Emily, his first love. The girl who had promised they would spend forever together before life cruelly tore them apart. Neither of them moved. Neither could speak. The restaurant faded away as memories flooded back. High school afternoons, cheap milkshakes, dreams of building a family, and the heartbreaking day Emily suddenly vanished from his life without explanation. Daniel had spent years believing she simply stopped loving him. Now she stood before him, not as the girl he remembered, but as one of the wealthiest women in the city. Neither of them knew that this unexpected reunion was about to uncover a secret that had remained buried for 2 decades. Dinner became something neither of them could taste. Silence carried years of unanswered questions. Finally, Emily looked into Daniel's eyes. "I never chose to leave you." Daniel frowned. She slowly revealed the truth she had hidden for 20 years. When they were both 19, Emily's father had discovered their relationship. A powerful businessman obsessed with protecting the family's reputation, he believed Daniel was too poor and would destroy Emily's future. Without telling Daniel, he arranged for Emily to study overseas immediately. He threatened to cut her off completely if she ever contacted Daniel again. Every letter she wrote disappeared before reaching him. Every phone call was blocked. Every attempt to come back failed. Daniel had waited for months, then years. Eventually, he accepted what everyone told him, that Emily had moved on. But she never had. She poured all her pain into building her own company, starting with almost nothing after breaking away from her controlling family. Emily worked relentlessly until she became one of the country's youngest self-made billionaires. Success never erased Daniel from her heart. Meanwhile, Daniel shared his own story. His marriage, his loss, the sleepless nights raising Lily alone. Emily's eyes filled with tears when she saw a small photo of Lily inside Daniel's wallet. Without hesitation, she smiled gently. "I'd like to meet her someday." Daniel smiled for the first time that evening. Neither of them noticed someone watching from across the restaurant. Emily's father, older now, regret written across his face. He had spent years trying to find Daniel, because there was one final truth neither of them knew. A truth powerful enough to change all 3 of their lives forever. The following afternoon, Emily's father requested a private meeting. Daniel almost refused, but Emily convinced him to come. The older man stood quietly before them. Gone was the proud businessman who once controlled everyone's future. Age had humbled him. With tears in his eyes, he admitted everything. He confessed how fear, pride, and wealth had blinded him. He believed separating them would protect his daughter. Instead, he had stolen decades of happiness from both of them. For the first time in his life, he apologized, not with excuses, not with money, only with genuine regret. Daniel remained silent for a long moment. The pain could never disappear completely, but carrying anger any longer would only continue the damage. He chose forgiveness. Not because the past could be erased, but because Lily deserved to grow up seeing compassion instead of bitterness. Days later, Emily finally met Lily, The little girl immediately wrapped her tiny arms around Emily. Children often see what adults overlook. Lily simply smiled. "You look happy when you're with Daddy." Emily couldn't hold back her tears. Months later, Daniel and Emily slowly rebuilt what time had stolen. Not through grand promises, but through ordinary moments. Family dinners, bedtime stories, school events, and quiet evenings filled with laughter. Emily's wealth never became the center of their story. Love did, because the greatest treasure she ever recovered wasn't the fortune she built. It was the family she thought she had lost forever. Sometimes life gives people only one first love, but for the fortunate few, it also gives them a second chance.